Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing another interesting soup recipe with you, and it's chicken soup with chicken dumplings. Those dumplings that are made with minced meat called Knedle. They can be made with potatoes or corn. I love them. They're just so different and unique. And then you boil them in a clear chicken broth, and then you have a very light and tasty soup. So let's get started. And of course, we're gonna need a chicken to make a wonderful chicken broth. And I'm gonna use this board that is I only use for meats. We're gonna place it on a tray with the paper towel so the juices don't leak on your countertop. And of course, when you deal with chicken, it's always good to put gloves on. Here I have one whole chicken, and it's organic grass-fed chicken. I'm gonna use the kitchen scissors to remove the skin of the chicken. Why? Some people leave it to make chicken broth. I personally remove it. To me, it's a necessary product, and my chicken is pretty good because it's organic, but most of the skins contain a lot of fat underneath it, and when you cook the chicken with the skin on, it makes your broth cloudy. So now what we have to do, we have to remove the chicken breast. So use the very sharp knife to go along the breastbone, and then just kind of cut the chicken breast off. And then on the other side, we're just gonna remove it completely. And sometimes the wishbone gets on the way, like in my case. So we'll just remove the chicken breast, and here you go. We're gonna do the same with the other one. This meat is gonna be used to make our dumplings. And the rest of the chicken is just gonna be dissected into parts, and we're gonna use that part of our chicken to make a wonderful homemade chicken broth. Here I have a 7-quart stock pot. It's a really large one, but I think it's easier to deal with the larger pots when you're making a specific soup. So we're gonna load our chicken parts in this pot and pour about 5 quarts of water in it. And here what we need to make our broth taste good. We're gonna need 1 large yellow onion, and I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'm gonna leave the skin on. Most people cook it in the broth without the skin, but I believe the skin gives your broth a very beautiful amber color, so leave the skin on. And then I'm gonna use 1 large carrot cut in half, and 1 large celery stalk cut in half. Then I have some dry spices here. I have some peppercorns, a dry chili pepper, and some coriander seeds, and 1 bay leaf. And here's this ingredient. I always use it. In Eastern European cooking and Middle Eastern cooking is always used, and it's Vegeta. And a lot of people prefer not to use it, but I found a wonderful organic Vegeta, and from now on I use it all the time. Our chicken broth is on the stove and ready to come up to a full boil. We need to move a chicken around so all the impurities come up to the surface. Would be easier for us to remove it. I have to tell you a little trick my grandmother did. Instead of using the slotted spoon, she would place the dry cheesecloth on top of it, and as she removes the cheesecloth, all the impurities are picked up by that cheesecloth. Then add all the vegetables to make the broth. We're gonna reduce the heat to low simmer, close the lid, and cook it for 1 hour. We also will need some vegetables for the soup, and it's gonna be 2 large celery stalks, 2 large carrots, 3 medium potatoes, and a bunch of parsley or whatever fresh herbs you like. We're gonna slice our carrots into circles, and we're gonna cut our celery into strips. Then our potatoes, we're gonna cut in half again, into little pieces like that. And of course, the fresh herbs are gonna get chopped because those are gonna be added at the end of cooking. Let's check on our broth. It's been an hour and you can see the chicken is fully cooked because the meat separates from the bone. So we're gonna remove all the meat and all the vegetables we use to flavor our broth. Then of course you can strain your broth, or you could use a spoon like that to remove all the coriander seeds and the peppercorns. And it's time for our Vegeta, and as I told you, it's optional. I like to add it because it adds a really good flavor and the color to the broth. And then we're gonna load the vegetables, which are the carrots, the celery, and the potatoes. Then mix it and cook it on medium heat until the vegetables are tender, which will take about 15-20 minutes. Let's see what we will need to make our chicken dumplings or knedles. We will need 600 grams of chicken breast. We will need 100 grams of milk, 1 large egg, and as far as spices, we're gonna need 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, and half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. I'm gonna load it all in a food processor. This is the easiest way to make knedles. If you don't have it, you can grind the chicken breast and then just mix it all by hand. But I think the food processor makes this job so much easier. So just load all your ingredients, and this amount of chicken requires this amount of ingredients, which is 600 grams. Your chicken breast could be larger, slightly larger or smaller, so you'd have to adjust your ingredients according to the weight of your chicken breast. So we're not gonna pulse it, we're just gonna run it on high speed for about 2 minutes until our chicken is completely minced. And it's gonna look like this. This is gonna be a souffle type of chicken dough, I would say. And that's how we're gonna make our knedles. Our vegetables are cooked and tender. It's time to make our dumplings or knedles. We're gonna need 2 spoons like that. Just gonna dip them in cold water, and we're gonna form our knedles. They're formed with 2 spoons dipped in water, because this way they'll be easier for them to come out and be dropped into our chicken soup. So just make your knedles. This particular amount makes a lot of them. And as soon as they float to the top like this, we're gonna lower the heat and cook it for about 5 minutes until they're completely cooked. And of course, as always, you have to taste your soup. So at the end, always taste your soup. If you need to adjust seasoning or little salt, little pepper, you can do it all at the end. And it's time for the fresh herbs. You add them at the end of cooking the soup. Let the soup rest a little bit for 5 minutes before serving. And after that, you could serve it. And then look at this soup, how beautiful the broth is and how tender and delicious those dumplings are. They taste just like chicken. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Have a great day. Bye.